Hi guys, I'm here to do my continued revisited tour of John Philip Bittencourt's continuing blog series, Return of Dark Shadows. Series 2, Chapter 3, Pandora's Box. The full moon had revealed Collinsport's hidden demons once again. A werewolf secretly hidden away by his own father was now seeing his own life was a sham, that he'd been lied to about what he was, where he came from, and what he was meant to be. The feeling of betrayal swam through his veins like a raging river. Christopher was completely confused and upset. He threw the photos at his father and grabbed his coat from the sitting chair next to him. "Where are you going?" Victor asked, following his son to the front door. "Don't! Leave me alone. Just leave me alone," Christopher said, jumping into his own car and locking the door. He picked up his phone and texted Alexandra, "I need to see you now." Kate and Loomis were writing up paperwork at the police department on what they saw the night of the fire. Sorry guys, I gotta take care of something real quick. Things going off like a mad person. Okay. Don't tell me, I didn't. Okay. Should do it. Alright. Kate and Loomis were writing up paperwork at the police department on what they saw the night of the fire at Collinwood when another police officer walked over and handed Loomis a missing persons form from a small town about 60 miles away from Collinsport. "What's this?" Loomis asked. "Doesn't the guy in the photo look like the body that was pulled out of the bay a few weeks back?" the cop asked. This caught Kate's interest, and she stood up and snatched the paper from the cop's hand. It did look like the same man. Carolyn, Alexandra, Caleb, and Leopold identified as Jack Thorne. Well. Either Jack Thorne has a twin brother who happens to be a missing homeless man named Frank Moore, or the Collins family has some explaining to do, Kate said. "You're serious?" Loomis said dryly. "Yes, I am. From the beginning, I've been saying something was odd about Jack's supposed suicide. And now we actually have some proof that there was some kind of cover-up. Look for yourself, Lou," Kate said, handing the flyer form back to Loomis. Wait. Let's just calm down, okay? Kat, how are you going to prove any of this? You just can't go in there accusing the whole family of, I don't know what. What are you accusing them of exactly?" Loomis asked skeptically. "What, you don't believe there's something fishy going on here? Look at this photo. I mean, the guy we pulled out of the bay was a little waterlogged and gross, but it's definitely the same guy. I'm not sure Jack Thorne is dead, Loomis. And if he is, where is his body? It wasn't the guy we fished out of the bay. I feel it in my gut," Kate explained. "Maybe you need to get more information out of your boyfriend," Loomis teased. Even if he was teasing her, Kate knew Loomis was right. If she was going to get anywhere with her theory that the family was hiding something, she had to break Caleb. As Loomis got up to file their paperwork, Kate called Caleb to set up a secret meeting, and Caleb, who was dealing with the his mother, Kimberly, had gotten him into needed a distraction. "I'll be home in an hour. Meet me there," Caleb's voice said over the phone. Kate left Loomis a note and snatched her jacket from the back of her chair and zoomed out of the police station, gun in holster. At Collinwood, Carolyn and Alexander were still in the blue room. As dusk approached, the night was creeping in. The perfect time for Leopold to make his appearance. He came into the blue room and felt a strange vibe coming from Carolyn and Alex. Being that they had just survived a fire the night before, he figured it was all part of the trauma and didn't think twice. Claudia, however, knew that he would sense something strange in the room now that she was possessing the body of Alex, and decided it was the perfect time to make her exit to avoid detection. "Leopold, what? You don't have to stand at the door. Please come in," Carolyn said, ushering Leopold over. "How are the two of you feeling this evening?" he asked as he sat across from them, starting to notice something different about Alex, just as Claudia predicted. "Are you all right, Alexander?" he asked, squinting his eyes as the energy from her aura began to glow red. Alex nervously smiled and stood up, taking a stack of magazines back to a coffee table on the other side of the room. "Never better," she quickly shot back. "I have a friend coming to see me in a few minutes. I'm going to meet him outside. I'll see you later," Alex said, kissing her mother on the cheek. "Is she all right?" Leopold questioned Carolyn once Alex was out of the room. "I think so. She's probably just tired. Last night was... it was insane," Carolyn said with a laugh. "We were talking about some old family stories, so maybe that put her off too." "I want to thank you for everything too, Leopold. You saved our lives." "It was nothing, really. No matter what, you're Jack's family, and Jack is still a part of me," he said with a forced smile, his pale skin almost glowing in the setting sunlight. Even though Carolyn knew their time together had ended, and she was legally a widow, she still loved Jack, and Leopold, having Jack's much younger face, a face that reminded Carolyn of the younger years, made it all too much more bittersweet. Could she ever let go of Jack's memories, knowing that he was living just outside her door in the old Collinwood mansion behind the main house? Only time would tell. As the two made small talk over tea and Carolyn explained some of the details of the reconstruction of the East Wing, Kimberly, freshly discharged from the hospital, made her way into the blue room, much to Leopold's delight and Carolyn's disdain. "Carolyn, have you spoken to Caleb?" "Something's happened," Kimberly said without even a hello. "What happened?" Carolyn asked, worrying for her cousin. "He came to see me at the hospital and Victor was there." Carolyn knew this day would come, a day she promised Caleb's father, David, she would do her best to protect Caleb from. "You told him, didn't you?" Carolyn said, standing up to face Kimberly. "He walked in on Victor and I talking, and I had to. He was starting to put two and two together. I had no choice but to tell him," Kimberly explained. "Leopold, will you give Kimberly and I some privacy?" Carolyn asked coldly. "Of course," Leopold said as he made his way to the door and hide around the corner to listen. "Is that why you came back to Collinsport? To bring more pain to Caleb?" "Kimberly, when you and David divorced, I stayed out of it as best as I could. I saw how it destroyed David. We all agreed that your affair with Victor would be kept a secret, and even knowing that, I've agreed to let you stay here for Caleb's sake." But let me make one thing clear. If Caleb even makes the slightest motion that he wants you gone, I promise you, I will make sure of it. Consider this a warning. You've always been one to make things that weren't about you. And this couldn't be less about you. I just want to tell him my side of things, Kimberly said. Fine, do what you want. But when you do, know that truth isn't on your side. Carolyn warned as she walked out of the blue room, pushing Kimberly to one side and not noticing an eavesdropping Leopold hiding in the shadows. Kimberly was unfazed by Carolyn's threats. She fully expected Carolyn to attempt to poison her son's mind about the divorce, but that had no connection to the real reason the mission Kimberly was brought back to Collinsport would all be revealed. Are you okay? Leopold said, walking back in. Kimberly was a vision. To Leopold, to him, Kimberly was a vision, a beautiful, striking blonde whose eyes were like pools of turquoise. He was in love. Oh, yes. Carolyn and I haven't exactly been the best of friends. But that'll change, Kimberly said, sitting down on the pale blue sofa. She's a very nice woman. I trust whatever the situation between you will be resolved, Leopold said as he started to make his way out of the room. Hey, wait. It's been a very insane day. Would you like to get a drink with me at the Blue Whale downtown? I need to get out for a second, Kimberly asked. Leopold felt like a child at Christmas, filled with the excitement and joy. Yes, I'd love to, he said as she smiled sweetly and interlinked their arms. Kimberly stood up and grabbed Leopold's arm and interlocked it with hers, and the two made their way past the scorched foyer. At the top of the stairs stood Carolyn, her eyes burned with jealousy. Kimberly had wiggled her way back into her family, something she knew she had to put a stop to. But could she stop it before Kimberly and Victor's plan was set into motion? In the gardens outside of Collinwood, Alexander waited in the brisk night air for Christopher. She paced back and forth on a cobblestone courtyard under trees that had been burned by the winter ice, and watched from shadows of the trees as Leopold and Kimberly dashed off to the Blue Whale. Alex, Chris said as he stepped into the other side of the courtyard. Hey, Claudia responded in Alex's voice. I'm so glad to see you, Chris said, kissing her sweetly on the lips. Claudia hadn't felt a kiss in a very long time, but she didn't expect what came from Christopher. It was different and powerful. As soon as their lips touched, the memories and events from the night of the full moon flooded into Claudia's mind like a horror picture show. Everything from the fight with his father to the transformation into a werewolf and the car accident and seeing Leopold in the forest were vivid memories now in her mind. Claudia now knew Christopher's abilities. She realized that if she could somehow be released from her sarcophagus prison in the cemetery, she could use Chris's powers for herself. I'm so glad, to see you. Some crazy stuff happened. I don't even know how to explain it, Chris said. I'm glad you're here too. I actually need your help with something, Claudia said in Alex's voice. Sure, okay, what's up? Chris responded. Take a walk with me, come on, she said, grabbing Chris's hand, leading him into the fog. The two continued to walk hand in hand along the Collinwood property through the various small arches of trees and past the various Widow's Hill. Claudia was taking Chris to the Collins family mausoleum. She was going to use him to free her. The waves of the Atlantic Ocean crashed along the cliff side, angry and violent. The sky was pitch black, and the moon was crescent, only revealing a small silver of light to guide them along their way. But finally they reached the shadowy, gloomy graveyard where so many of the Collins family members were laid to rest, and where Claudia had been trapped by Leopold. "Where are we? What are we doing here?" Chris asked, confused. "I need you to go into the main mausoleum and open up Catherine Collins' sarcophagus," Claudia ordered. "What? What the hell for?" Chris said, furrowing his brow. "Chris, I need you to do this. I need you to do this for me," Claudia said in Alex's voice, a voice that swirled out of her throat like a mystical smoke that curled and surrounded Chris and entered his ears into his brain. Chris felt lightheaded and dizzy and began to blink slowly. He turned to the cemetery in a daze, walking past several tombstones and grave markers. He walked through the light fog that had now placed itself hovering gracefully in the cold air at knee length on the above the gravestones. Alexander's body still stood at the edge of the gate, possessed by Claudia's evil spirit, waiting and waiting for the moment Christopher finally released her from her stone prison. Chris walked into the mausoleum, his eyes darted back and forth, searching. And there in the corner was Catherine's sarcophagus. He walked over and tried to slide the top off. He pushed and pushed, and finally, on the fourth try, the stone slid open, and a light so bright burst from inside. Christopher screamed and fell to the floor, backing away with his hands and feet, terrified of what he was witnessing. Like the evils of Pandora's box, Claudia's body rose from the crypt, still in her red dress, almost as if she was asleep. Seamlessly, her spirit leaving Alex's body like a black smoke from a bonfire, calling her body to float, standing up from inside to the front of the cemetery. Chris, still in panic, followed and saw that Alex had fainted. He watched in terror as the black smoke of Claudia's spirit collided with the body he had just released from the crypt. He ran over to cover Alex as the two parts of Claudia's spirit, the body, melded together in a burst of white, powerful energy and disappeared into the night. "Alex! Alex! Wake up! Alex!" Chris said as Alex came to, rubbing her eyes. She looked at Christopher, fully aware of what had happened and after her possession. "Oh, God," she whispered. "What have we done?" So, it's really interesting. Claudia is very deceitful. She is very much her mother's daughter. She's so resentful of her own father, Barnabas Collins, and the things he did. To her, Barnabas was more in the wrong for taking her away from her mother. To her, that should have been something she should have got to decide, to decide her life. She's mad at Barnabas for deciding her life for her and the life he has set her up with. It's not a very cozy one in her mind. So possessing Alex and doing all this is her way of getting back at him. And she can think of no better way to do this than get at his own family, and why not? I really enjoyed Christopher's and Victor's interaction with each other. I enjoyed Christopher and Alex's / Claudia's interaction. It was really well done. Kimberly stole this day. Kimberly, Victor, Caleb, the Kate and Loomis thing, that was really good. I really enjoy these. It's really well written. I enjoy the read along. So I'm going to do one more later tonight because it's already 11:45. And there's things I want to do, but I will do one later tonight. I'll do the third one tonight. And I'll see you guys tonight for that read along for sure. And I'm trying to think if there's anything I missed on this day. I really like the use of the blue room. The blue room was nicely done. The setup of the blue room, you know, from the previous day to this day. I love how the blue room was used. It was really a centerpiece for this story, and it was just so well used. So again, John always does a good job setting the scenes for you, taking you there, and the character interaction. He puts you sort of in the place of the characters. You're sort of sitting there watching this. It's like you're there almost. And I've said that time and time again. So he definitely takes you to Collinsport, to Collinwood, Maine. I have no problem picturing being there because of John's setting and what he does. So I'll see you guys tonight for the third read along. And I hope you enjoyed this review. Like, share, comment, and subscribe.